Ohio State adds another one to the 2022 class. We got to talk about him after the bumper.
Don't be cornering me. Hold up. Time. You got to help me with that corner shit.
What's up, kinfolk? It's RJ Young. I am not on a step mill. Consider hitting the like and subscribe button because I upload a video every single day. It's always college football related, sports related. We have a good time. Today, I want to talk about 2022 outside linebacker Gabe Powers, who has decided to commit to the Ohio State Buckeyes, joining Jair Brown, Tegra Teshabola, and CJ Hex in that 2022 class. He's not only the #1 player in the state of Ohio, he is a top 50 recruit, currently ranked at number 45 in the country in the 247 Sports composite. And when you take a look at Gabe Powers, you can understand why. Tremendous size at 6'4", 220 pounds. Charles Powers says the comp for him is Christian Miller. You'll remember Christian Miller out of the 2014 class, also a top 40 recruit, and eventually went to Alabama where he played for 5 years and was a 4th-round draft pick for the Carolina Panthers. And while we talk a lot about Dylan Moses, we talked a lot about Quinnen Williams. I think that Christian Miller kind of got thrown by the wayside over there. For me, he was as good as Terrell Lewis and could have been better. Gabe Powers has an opportunity to be better than both of them at Ohio State, and it continues to add to a tremendously rich recruiting class, both in 2022 and 2021, this recruiting cycle for Al Washington, who has done a tremendous job of not just recruiting outstanding linebackers, but getting them in the boat really soon as opposed to later. I mean, we're talking about 2022 guys having 2 dudes that could play outside linebacker for you in CJ Hicks and, of course, Gabe Powers. But also in 2019, Reed Carrico, was in there in September, right? And then you look at enough of these dudes that really could go anywhere and how they're choosing Ohio State. And one of the things that I've come to value about Ohio State linebacking is they're all super duper athletic. I mean, from Pete Werner to Baron Browning to Malik Harrison and what he was able to do as a Buckeye to what you expect those guys in the middle to be able to do this year. They can pretty much play whatever positions they're asked to play when it comes to pass defense, pass coverage, and pass rush. I just think that when you're looking at 6'4", 220 pounds as a rising junior, geez, man. I mean, if you keep growing, you're probably going to outgrow that position and end up playing edge, which, you know, outside linebacker is essentially edge. But when you look at his frame, he could pack on another 40 pounds and it'd be just fine. Now, Ohio State continues to add to their really outstanding 2022 class, even as their 2021 class has 305-plus points with 19 commitments in the boat and is far and away the #1 class in the 2021 recruiting cycle. Now, as good as Ryan Day has been as an offensive coordinator, play caller, and even head coach, we have to talk about what he's been able to do in the first 2 years that he's been able to be in charge of the recruiting process at Ohio State. When you talk about that 2020 class that was so good, this 2021 class that is on the verge of being historically awesome, and then what this 2022 class could be, and the way that he's been able to upgrade at positions of need when it comes to coaching staff, right? Because when you took him off of Shiano difficulty, Jeff Hafley turned that defense into what I think was perhaps the second best in the country behind Clemson. And even that, you know, is debatable with Jeff Okudah, Damon Arnett going in the first round of the 2020 NFL draft. And then add to that what they've been able to do on the defensive line with Larry Johnson Sr. I mean, Draymond Jones, the Bosa boys, Nick and Joey, Chase Young, and then what Tyreek Smith and, of course, Zach Harrison could be able to do this year. It's the same as it's been for like 5 years with Larry Johnson Sr. And now you get to add Kerry Combs back to this staff that helped it achieve new heights when you're talking about defensive back recruitment and development. Denzel Ward was a 3-star recruit when he signed with Ohio State. He left as the 4th overall draft pick in the 2018 NFL draft. Continue to look at what they've been able to do defensively, and you can see guys like Jordan Fuller are making noise. Guys like Shaun Wade have an opportunity to make noise. 7 first-round draft picks since 2016 at defensive back alone, and Gabe Powers sees the receipts that Ohio State gets to show and says, I want some of that. With the Big Ten championships, with the 2014 national championship just 6 years away. The opportunity to win a national championship in 2020 and 2021 and 2022. The idea that you're going to have Kyle McCord, Jack Miller, CJ Stroud all competing for playing time in 2021. I got a glimpse at some great Jack Miller highlight tape earlier today on a tip. I went to go watch it, and I said, man, that dude looks so good running to his left and his right. There's a couple of plays where he's a dead man, where he's throwing off of his left foot, rolling to his left, to his right, 30 yards downfield, drops a dime. And then, Jeremy Birmingham over at Letterman Row pops in and says, yeah, his offensive line was atrocious, so he was running for his life constantly, and that has a lot to do with his passing statistics. So as much as I like C.J. Stroud out of Rancho Cucamonga, you could see a really great battle between Jack Miller and C.J. Stroud for the 2021 starting quarterback job. And, oh, yeah, Kyle McCord is in there. This 2022 class with Gabe Powers joining up, you understand what it could be defensively already. And that's the thing that I want to stress about that 2022 class. Like, Tegra Teshabola is the only guy on the offensive side of the ball, and he's playing offensive line. They're building defense first at Ohio State, which is the way that I would do it, because I need a stout defense before I need a stout offense. A defense can win me football games. They don't need the ball to score, right? And usually when you're talking about your best athletes, you want them to play defense because that's the harder position to play. It's a challenge to play defensive back. As a matter of fact, Deion Sanders went on record with this. They said, why did you want to play defensive back at Arizona State when he was an option quarterback coming out of high school, where he could have played wide receiver or even tailback? And he said, I wanted a challenge, which is peak prime time. But you get it, right? I'm on the Jim Thorpe selection committee, and the thing that I value about defensive backs is, one, it's harder to play than wide receiver, and the guys that can be outstanding defensive backs will make a lot of money in the NFL and project to have long careers in the NFL. Think of Minkah Fitzpatrick and what his career could look like in the next couple of years. Same thing with Grant Delpit, second-round draft pick with the Cleveland Browns, because both of those guys can play 6 positions in your defense, and because the NFL, like college, is going to more dime and nickel-based defenses than it is to 4-3s and 3-4 defenses, we're going to see defensive backs that can play at every level get more opportunities. And with 6'4", 220 pounds at outside linebacker, Gabe Powers could project at inside, outside, or even safety. So he has the capacity to play both end positions, both inside linebacker positions, and even perhaps a safety position. So that's 5 right there. And then depending on what kind of scheme you want to run, 3-3-5, 3-4, 4-2-5, he can slot in wherever you want to go. Huge pickup for Ohio State. I'm excited to see what this 2022 class looks like for Ohio State, especially after what Ohio State has been able to put together in 2021 and the way that they are already deciding that they're going to make a dent in a 2022 class, as the 2021 class is still very much being recruited, with early signing day still on the books for December, around the time that we expect to play conference championship games, which are going to matter even more than they usually do this year. Very exciting time in recruiting. All right, if you would like a sticker, one of the ones that I am sending out to folks, check the link in the description in the comments, and you will see that I'm selling them for $5, which basically covers the price of making the sticker and me shipping it, not the price of designing the sticker or any of that. I just want you guys to have an opportunity to have a keepsake for being one of the first 50,000 subscribers to this channel, because once we hit 50,000 subscribers, I'm not giving anymore. I don't think that it's worth it to do that. So 250 of these, when they're gone, they're gone. Thanks for riding with me. Deuces.